Hi, this is Isaac, and I'm recording my thing from this week, which is coming out story. So it's actually really long, so I don't really want to bore you with that, because actually the most of it is coming out to myself, which was really... I mean, coming out as trans is really a very different thing from coming out as gay. It really is. Because the whole thing with being trans is that it's not just that you love somebody of the same gender, it's that your body is absolutely repulsive to yourself, and you need to change it, and you're not being perceived as who you really are. And, you know, it doesn't seem like a big thing for people who aren't trans. You know, people like to say things like, oh, you know, just gender, but it's a lot more than that if you're a trans person, and if you have to struggle with people, you know, all the time not seeing you as who you are and calling you miss and stuff, when you want to be like, nope, sir, or calling you sir all the time, when you want to be like, nope, I'm a lady. Like, you know, it's a really big thing, and people don't understand that, and I really am not in the mood right now to discuss all that, not because I'm in a bad mood, I'm tired. I spent all day chasing a rabbit around the backyard. I had the scratch marks to prove it. Like, it was fun, but, you know. So yeah, you know. Mostly, coming out to myself was really weird because it wasn't something that I knew from day one. And most of the trans narrative that you'll hear from people is people who have always known it, and they've always known it, and they've always been outspoken about it. That's not what happened with me. I mean, I've always known in the back of my head. But really, I spent, like, the vast majority of my life in absolute denial of it. Because growing up, I would always see myself as guy. I would read books, I would imagine myself as a male character. And, you know, playing video games, I would imagine myself as a male character. Actually, I've heard of, you know, people have found that actually trans youth really like mermaids. And, it's, you know, a hypothesis around that is because there's no genitalia. And actually, I played a lot of Kingdom Hearts when I was a kid, and I really liked Sora in, the little, My Little Mermaid? No, the little, yeah, sorry, the, Little Mermaid. I really liked playing as him in that world because he was a merman. He was really cool. And I always really was like, I want to be that. And I never really knew what that was. You know, and things just got a lot harder as I grew up. My parents got divorced, and my dad has never been one to push, you know, gender norms on people. And my mother has been. And she's always wanted me to act more like a girl. And, you know, stuff like that. And so, when my parents got divorced, I had to spend more time with her alone. And I was pushed to act more like a girl, and stuff like that. And it was not working out for me. So it was that, and that's also the time I started puberty. So that, you know, really sucked, because you're growing these things and you don't want to grow them. You know, you can't grow from your guy. You don't want to grow boobs, you know. And then you're menstruating, and it sucks, and you're getting curvy, and people are calling you miss, and you just hate it. So, you know, that took a while. People always thought I was a lesbian, and it really confused me, because I was like, no, I like girls. No. Sorry, I mixed up what I was gonna say. I don't really like girls, actually. I like guys. So I was always like, no, you know, I like guys, this is really weird, why do you guys think I'm a lesbian? Actually, I found out recently that when I was a kid, my parents always thought I was a lesbian. And that they used to, like, have, like, you know, they were, like, rooting for me. They're like, yeah, you have a lesbian in the family. And sometimes I would joke about coming out to my family, and they'd be like, no, it's okay, we've always known. I'd be like, no, that was a joke. That was a joke, parents. I'm not a lesbian. So, you know, people at school always thought I was lesbian. Yeah. I cut, like, my hair. I mean, I've never had long hair. Like, the longest my hair has ever been is probably down to here. I've never had a particularly feminine haircut. So at the end of my freshman year, I cut off my hair, down to like here. And people were teasing me and stuff and giving me like a really hard time. Or like, oh, you look like a boy now. And, because I'm still in that denial stage, I want to be like, no, I'm not a boy, I am a girl. And so then, of course, you try to feminize that, and you try to be like, no, I'm a girl, look at how feminine I am, and stuff. It didn't work in the end. Sorry guys, it never works. So, that was going on, and even in middle school, I used to get bullied. There was this guy, he used to push me and trip me and shove me and stuff, and follow me around school, and be like, are you a boy or are you a girl? Which as a trans person is like the worst thing you can hear, especially when you are in denial about it, when you know it, and you're like, shit, somebody else guessed it too. But I never really saw him again, and so, it was at the end, I was having a really hard time. Since my parents divorced, and since puberty started, everything just sort of went downhill. And, at the end of my sophomore year, I was having a really hard time, and, I was on the internet, and there was an article about genderqueer people, and so I was like, I was in that stage where I was like, I don't care anymore, so I looked at it, and I was like, that seems like me, like what I've been dealing with for a long time. And so then actually a few days later, my dad has always been really chill about gender norms, and actually, he's always let me wear boys' clothes if I wanted to, and, helped me to make sure that I knew I could express myself however I wanted to. Be it gender or sexuality or whatever, he's always been supportive of me. And he's always been open-minded. And so I told him, and we were standing outside of this, deli, a few cities over, and I was like, sometimes I feel more masculine than others. And he was like, so do I. I was like, no, I think it's something different. And, he was like, and so then I was sort of like, never mind. And I tried to explain it a few days later, and I was like, I was standing in my kitchen, I was like, I think I might be genderqueer. And then he was like, okay. And he was okay with that. And it just started out as that, and he helped me actually choose my first chosen name. And I asked him to buy me my first binder, and he was just like, well, why do you want this? And that was one of the scariest moments of my life. You know how terrifying it is when Lord of the Rings, when, Bilbo is like, it was like that. And so I was like, I feel really uncomfortable with everything that's up here. I was like, okay, just curious. I was like, seriously being alone off me. And so I didn't come out as FTM to him all at once. Because it was an exploration. It actually wasn't until October I realized I identified as male, because it was just such a big process. But when I came out to my mother, I was on the way home from a beach trip with her, my brother, and I. And my brother had fallen asleep in the backseat of the car, and we were driving home, and we had a really good day, so I figured maybe it was time to broach it. So I was like, hey, I think I might be genderqueer. And I, preface this with the whole gender is different from sex, talk. And I was like, yeah, because I think I must be gender fluid. And I explained to her what that meant and how I related to it. And then she was sort of like, well, one day you're going to grow up and be a feminine woman. And I was like, that's a load of not true. So, I lasted through that. I texted some of my friends, came out to them. I came out to my friend Elliot, who's, genderqueer himself. Came out to my best friend, which really isn't an issue considering she's genderqueer herself. She's on the channel, and it was Megan. And, that was never really an issue. We were sort of the punk anarcho-feminists. It tends not to be an issue in that crowd. So she's been on my side from day one, and she's helped people, to get the right pronouns, and she's always called by the right pronouns, and made a really big effort to do that, which I'm really happy for. I came out to one of my other friends, and he just said, like, that doesn't surprise me at all. I don't, like, really surprise much of anybody. I mean, there were people in, like, my mother's family who would say that it was a really big surprise, but that's, you know, I think that's just their way of dealing with their denial and stuff. And, you know, whatever. You know, people process things at different times, and it really doesn't bother me unless they're standing in the way to my getting adequate medical treatment. And I have that taken care of now, so, you know, I'm there to educate them and to help them and stuff, but in the end, I am not the person who can make them support me, so. I'm hoping this video is still going on, but, that was how I came out, essentially. How I came out to everybody, because it was National Coming Out Day last October, and I was like, I'm out to almost everybody already, so I was like, I went on Facebook, and I was like, hey, this is who I am. I identify as trans masculine. I like to be called by these pronouns, and I like to be called by this name. So if you could do that for me, that would be great. So then a few months later, like, or maybe it was actually just a month, after I realized I really just identified with masculine pronouns, I said, hey, please call me by masculine pronouns. Everybody took it fairly well. And then, like a month ago or 2 months ago, I changed my name to Isaac, because I've been previously going by a neutral name. And people didn't play that one so well. They're sort of like, well, you're always changing your hairstyle, and now you're changing your name, and who are you anymore? And I don't believe any of that, because I'm just changing my name with business of it is yours. Like, it's my name. Fine. Not yours. I'm not going up to yours. You must be called Isaac. Like, I'm not doing that, so. You know, people are making a big deal out of that, but I'm just really, you know, weird. And not, you know, anything that they were right in complaining about. But now everybody calls me Isaac, so that's good. That didn't take as long as a time period, just because I'd already switched from, you know, everybody already read me as male, so, well, I mean, not everybody read me as male, but people were calling me by male pronouns and stuff like that, so, you know, that's my coming out story. Yeah, coming out to doctors has been weird, as usual. But, you know, yeah, that's a thing for a different video, so, alright guys, or people, not guys, I will talk to you later.